San Antonio, I know so much has been already said, and Matt, you're going to hear this ad nauseum about the inexperience for San Antonio, the inexperience for San Antonio, the inexperience for San Antonio. You're gonna hear those words ad nauseum going forward. I'm not buying 100% into it. I have to see it because, well, okay, Castle, Harper, yes, they're young guards, but they play with such energy and great on the defensive end. They've got Fox that has a little bit of postseason. You've got Harrison Barnes that is one with the Warriors, but Wembyama again seems like that transcendent player. This is what he wanted. This is what he wanted for this team. He did not want to wait on the San Antonio timeline and how they wanted to go. He wanted to go ahead and say, I want to win now. I don't care what your agenda is, San Antonio. I want to win now. So maybe that he pushed for the De'Aaron Fox trade. Maybe that's what he did. So he wanted to win now. And this organization has said, you know what? We're going to agree with you. We're going to back you up. And they have exceeded expectations. But Victor Wembanyama just seems to have that psyche by what he says and what he does that may kind of say, okay, maybe don't have the playoff experience, but I'm just going to go out there and play some ball and I'm going to see what happens next. He just seems like he's going to go all into the playoffs and not be taking a step back in the spotlight.
It really is a shame that he went out early last season because I would have loved to see how they would have fared right then and there. It could have given us a better glimpse into what they'll look like in the playoffs. And at the same time, they got Dylan Harper because of that. So it's not like the Spurs are really complaining about their fate in that regard. I'm very much because I have talked to a couple Spurs fans, in the fan sided community, and they have said straight up, don't buy the whole they don't have experience thing. And I very much have the I'll believe it when I see it sort of mindset. But I do think that San Antonio is lethal, not just because of Wembanyama, but because of the core that they built around him. They built, multiple guys who can score, multiple guys who can do other things. They quickly built that, and that's actually pretty impressive. Watching the Celtics go up against them, actually something that Boston did that I think other teams will use is even though they used Luka, they quickly inserted Luka Garza, who, has been pretty amazing, or I should say has given the Celtics more than their money's worth with him. But the reason why they inserted him so quickly for Neemias Queta is he's a floor spacer. Like he made a three immediately once he was inserted in. And so I do think that other teams are going to see and they're going to say, okay, we need 5 out versus the Spurs. And the Celtics were right there, despite Jaylen Brown getting kicked out, with still over half the game to go, and still gave the Spurs everything they could. So I do think, and it's because for every Wembanyama minute there was, they always had floor spacers on the floor. So I do think that the Spurs are going to be a little tougher than people think, despite their lack of experience. But I also think teams are going to say, we want dragging Wembanyama out of the post. That changes everything for San Antonio. I would love to see a Spurs versus Thunder series. I would love to see a Spurs versus Nuggets series because I think Jokic is going to give Wemby all he can handle. I would love to see 2 basketball titans going right up against each other and starting a new rivalry. And funny thing is, Jokic isn't old, but it's one of those, the guy that's been there versus the guy that could be there. I can't wait to see that, and I hope we get that.
I couldn't agree with you more. I as a fan, I would be intent to watch that because, I'm a fan of Wembanyama's game. Saw him back since he first came to this country and played in a suburb of Las Vegas, his first game here in the States. And I have just been in awe of what he can do out there in the basketball court. And I'm just not going to underestimate him. I'm not going to. He guy with that much raw talent is going to be something. And you're right. The more you can draw him away on defense, the less effective he might be. And I know that's saying something because he still falls in love with the jump shot and still falls in love with the three, maybe more than some people like. And he doesn't play inside as much as people like, but still he is averaging some gaudy numbers. And as we'll go into his second, it just, again, I want to see what they want to do as far as San Antonio is concerned. They are OKC and San Antonio are going to put some guys on rest. They're going to rest some guys. They're going to go ahead and prep for the playoffs. I get that. I understand it. I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to map them out. I have a feeling that San Antonio is going to feed a lot off of Harrison Barnes and his knowledge and his experience because he's been there. He's been there multiple times, and he has to be that voice in the locker room and to help guide these kids going forward. And I think that having him there could be a possible key to their success.
And I'm actually really happy that he gets another chance. Like, it's been a decade since he last got a chance. Like, he's had a solid NBA career since leaving the Warriors, but never, I think he's been to the playoffs once, and I think that was with the Kings 3 years ago. And
Mhm.
he's not what he was even then, but I'm just glad that he's finally gotten that chance to kind of rise above it. Especially, I almost kind of see from his perspective of like while he and the Spurs are rising, the Warriors are falling, and it looks like this free fall is not slowing down anytime soon. So how nice is that for him to kind of get the last laugh on them, on the NBA team of tomorrow with San Antonio? So yeah, I completely agree that Barnes is going to be so useful in the locker room, but I'm also just so glad that Barnes, in a way, kind of got the last laugh on Golden State.